So, hi.
Hi.
We're going to write some LINQ today. And the textbook is a little bit veer off of the textbook, just a little bit. Because they cover various LINQ queries. But I happen to have a bunch of requirements that are out there kind of just for practice. And so I have this lab that we do in the other class where it comes to writing SQL statements. And I've used this lab for a while in my C# class. And you guys might remember this, where we just wrote 100 different, well, not 100, but we wrote 23 plus 16, 33, 39, 40, 39 queries. And we're just going to get through as many as we can today just for the practice of writing some LINQ, right? So, LINQ is just like SQL in the sense that, you're going to use it to query a data set. And you can use LINQ to query arrays, you can use LINQ to query lists, or data from a database. And so that's what we're going to be doing, is we're going to be querying data out of a database. Now, what database is it? And this is just more or less an explanation of a database called Henry. So I made Henry available to my students for download, so you can run through this exercise. If you download Henry, I have it in my downloads folder. What I'm going to do is extract that folder inside of downloads. So I now have an unzipped Henry database folder with an MDF and an LDF file. So you can now see I've got the zip folder and I've got the unzipped folder called Henry. And then inside of Henry, I've got Henry database, and there are your database files. So that's kind of the step that you need to get to, where you have the unzipped Henry database. And when you have these database files, be it the MDF and the log, the LDF, those are the two files that you need to then attach a database. And so if you want to kind of spin up a practice LINQ project, I'll just spin up a MVC, just call it LINQ practice. Just to get inside of Visual Studio here. And what you need to do first is to attach the database. The way that you attach a database, and you can just watch now and then I'll give everyone a minute to do it, right, is you're going to go into your Object Explorer. You're going to right click. Let me find the right place to right click. It's going to be in Server Explorer. Under Server Explorer, right click, and we're going to add a connection. So it's a different tab than we're used to using. We're going to add a connection. And here, my default brings up a SQL Server database file. If that's not your default, you can change it. Okay? So that's how we're going to connect to the database file. So like everything in the Microsoft world, there's a little wizard to kind of step through. When we browse, now I'm going to be looking for downloads Henry MDF. So you browse to the main database file, if you will. I don't know if that's what the M stands for, but it sounds good. MDF. And you're going to want to hit test connection. That's not going to work. If you hit OK, it will work. It says you want to upgrade the database file now. You're going to click yes, just like an older versioned file. And that kind of gives you access to the henry.mdf file with the tables and kind of show table data there. And you can see we have access to the file. Now if I go to Object Explorer and kind of do a refresh. Let's see if it kind of shows up under here. I might have to add an existing connection. So let's see.
I think it's that folder that EA Goodness said downloads Henry.
Oh, there she is. I just was not seeing it. Where's Henry? There it is. I could rename this, should I choose, to just Henry. See if that lets me do that. Or maybe that was a bad idea. The database could not be exclusively locked to perform this operation. So let's close this connection back in the Server Explorer, just because I want to try this now. Rename Henry. Not the important part of this, so if it doesn't work, I'm just going to move on. Looks like it's not working. Probably upon a reboot of said computer, it looks like there's something that has this database open, a connection open. I'm not worried about it, but we do have the tables in here. And this is going to be the file that we are working with. Now, our database name, I really do want to rename this because all of our other ones are just very simple names. So in our connection string, it makes it very simple to point it out to a simple name. I don't want to put this full path in my connection string, right? So I'm just thinking for a moment. Let me pause. So for me, what I had to do was just close all my Visual Studio instances. I had 2 of them open and just reboot, and then I was able to rename. So completely close down all your Visual Studios, reboot Visual Studio, and then come right into Object Explorer and right-click rename. Right-click rename, and that got me the more simple name. Again, I wanted to do that because when we write our connection string inside of app config, I want a simple name there. I don't want the full path to have to go in my connection string, which I was thinking it would probably have to be. So inside of, in order to connect to this, obviously we want to make a connection string. That connection string is going to be inside of app settings .json. And so like we have so many times before, I'm going to go ahead and put in a comma and paste. Now I'm going to name this Henry context, Henry. And then my database is also Henry, Henry. So I need to make my Henry context file, and I need to we'll be writing some of our LINQ queries inside of that context file. But nonetheless, we have our connection string. The next thing we need is to enable dependency injection, so that basically allows our context files to have access to the database, right? So our line of code that we will introduce will be after this add controller with views. And we've done this. Again, our context is going to be Henry context. Okay, now this method is not recognized because we don't have Entity Framework installed yet on this, so that's the next step. Let's go Tools, Package Manager, as we've done Entity Framework SQL Server, Core SQL Server. And clear that out. Entity Framework Tools. Okay. Now at least add-db context is now recognized, but it does not recognize movie context, and we need to add a using. So let's go to the top of this file and say using Microsoft Entity Framework Core, and let's also add a using link.models, so that as soon as we make our movie context file, it will be a recognized type.
I think it would be Henry context.
Thank you. Yeah, so we'll update the name, right? Don't be a copy paste victim as.
It's funny when you say good eye to me, 'cause I don't have 20/20 vision, and I have an astigmatism in both eyes.
So I say good eye, and you're like, no, I don't have good eyes.
Yeah,
No, I really, I'm the definition of not having good eyes. It's an expression. Let's add a class called Henry Context. That inherits from DB context. Now, as I'm going down this, wait a minute, Henry context, wait a minute, don't we have a database first? Didn't we learn how to do database first yesterday? Could we implement that?
Okay.
Let's do that. Let's delete Henry context. And we could have continued down that path, but let's just take a couple steps and
It's good practice.
good practice. So let's go to the Package Manager console. And let's run the command scaffold hyphen db context minus connection. Name is Henry context. So that's our connection string name. Provider SQL Server. And I'll do the output directory is models, plural. It's build failed, so I'm going to bring this line in after I run this. because my code is not compiling. Let me do a build now. Now build succeeds. Let me go back to package manager console. Run that same command over. Okay. So cool. So we've got our models. That was easy. Our context. I like it. Is the command in the book?
No, is this whole thing in the book, or you just?
No, not well. I mean, this is what we did yesterday,
Okay.
right? So far, yes. So far, I mean, this is just what we did yesterday.
Is that name equals Henry context or name mine dash?
Name equals.
Okay. I think that's what I'm getting here.
But now that I have a context, I can bring the DB context back in, and that works. Yeah, so while we, just to reiterate what Vinny was just saying, is like, yeah, these models were generated from the tables. So if you go in the author table, you're going to see 3 columns, an author num, an author last, and an author first. So if we explore into that, Henry, there's author, and if you look at the columns, there's author num, author last, and author first. So the properties were generated from the tables and their columns. Yes?
What's the
Program.cs. Now obviously this line of code doesn't compile until you get that context built, and that was built with this command right here. Okay, so one thing that we'll kind of have to tinker with as we're going through this is figuring out how many views we have to create and how many controllers we have to create. We got the models, we got the connection string and all that fun stuff. But to kind of just get the first LINQ query going, like let's just use the built-in home controller and just pull some data out of the database and display it on a view and just get it kind of wired up the first time on the home controller. So I'll delete this logger, and I'll delete privacy and error, and go ahead and pull in a context. So we typically do private. Right, so this helps us make that connection to the database in this thing called context. Again, the instance field, this context equals context. To make it more clear, sometimes you do CTX. So you set the context equal to CTX. Does the same thing. And one of the first, not the first one, but list the complete publisher table, right? So if we're going to list the complete publisher table, we would write a little LINQ query, var publishers equals context publishers to lists, and return to the view publishers. So kind of a select star. There's no ordering here. If we wanted to order, we have an order by, and you throw in a little what's called lambda expression, where you say order by the publisher, arrow, publisher dot name, I guess is their publisher name to list. And so you would expect this to be a list of type publisher. Instead of saying var publishers, you could say list of type publisher. And that way you know, of course, to list is returning just that, a list of type publisher. Of course, then we have to go into the view, the home view, the index, and set the model to be a list of type there it goes, lowercase m. And we can kind of tinker with this. You know, when you're pulling data out of a table, of course it makes sense to put it into a table. And so format a table. Some bootstrap classes. And if I kind of take a look at a publisher and what's in there, publisher code, publisher name, and city. Let's just pull out the publisher name and city, I guess. Let's just pull out all three. Publisher code, publisher name, and city. Lowercase publisher, publisher code, tab goes over, publisher name, boot it up and see what breaks. Build succeeded.
I think you just have to add a TR. Yeah, you
Forgot my TR.
it's not the problem.
Open a TR, close my TR, format, save, run. We have now used LINQ to select star, but we've selected star before. But we did database first. That's cool.
That is cool.
Okay, so to continue on, we'll kind of do this first step. Now, I do want to focus a little bit more on the LINQ as opposed to like getting this sent from the results of the data and sending it to the view. So we'll do at least one or two more where we like do the full operation, and then at some point we'll just have a button that you click and it'll generate a LINQ query, and we might not flush it all the way out because there's 40 of these, and to flush them all out would take a long time, right? So the next one is list the book code and book title of each book. And so in my layout, you know, here we have the home page, which I just changed the link to say all publishers. So the home page says all publishers, and I'll just say, I'm just going to call this number 1. It doesn't make much of a difference what my link says, but my action, I'll just call it num1. And so using this num1 of my home controller, I need to go ahead and make this num1 method, and that will be kind of how we generate the link, and it's in the nav bar. And so to go to the home controller, public I action result num1, and let's return a view. And because we're going to wire this all the way up, let's go ahead and make a num1. Let's, instead of the number 1, let's not do that. Let's just do ONE, right? That makes a little more sense. Num ONE. In the home controller. And what is number 1? Again, number 1. Now what's interesting right away is, you know, publisher table, that was, you know, like a select star. So you wanted all the columns. And already right away, this is not all of the columns. This is just 2 columns. And so everything we've done so far is like listing an entire, you want the entire publisher, you want the entire thing. But you don't want that here, right? You don't want the entire book. You don't want all the properties. You just want a couple of properties of the book. And so new in this chapter, page 482, they talk about projections. And that's all a projection is. A projection's like, hey, I don't want all of the data. I just want some of the data. Instead of, you know, instead of one thing you want just a piece of it. So we're going to kind of work with a projection, and the book kind of goes through and it says basically 2 things. You can use anonymous objects, but that's not best, and they recommend making a concrete data type. And so they have these concrete types called DTOs, data transfer objects. Again, you're just these classes to store data and send them from the controller to the view. So you make these classes called a data transfer object that's basically going to work with the book title and the book code. And so again, I'm not going to do this for everyone, but as a demonstration of one way that you could do this. Again, now what are you really benefiting here? Instead of sending over a list of book, and then in the view, you would just display the 2 properties, right? But the argument is made, well, you're selecting a lot of data that you don't need, and you're sending a lot of data that you don't need, right, to the view. So this is just another way of not sending all this unneeded data. Instead, you're just sending pieces of it.
That in turn makes the program faster.
That's the idea, is that it's more efficient. Okay, exactly right. So again, if I was just gonna list all the book, now this is, we're gonna change this, right? Contact books. this is the first approach that there's a select method. We could select the book, and here's our anonymous object, a new object. B dot, and what did they want? Book code, comma, B dot, book code and book title. Let's store it instead of storing it in a list, let's just store it in var. And put a semicolon. Now, this is a projection with an anonymous type, anonymous type. Here's our object, just a new object with the book code and the book title, and we could return that to here. But you know, this is, if you were to spin up the, let's just do this. Let's just put a breakpoint here, and let's hit this breakpoint, right? So, and then we can inspect the data and make sure that it's just pulling back those two things. The problem is when you go to send this to the view. So if I look at my link, num1, I hit my link, I hit my breakpoint, and I'm just going to kind of step over the query because I don't need to get into it. But I've got this variable. If I look at my books, oh, I forgot to take it to a list. Let's take it to a list. I hit my breakpoint, and this is all good, but I forgot dot to list. There we go. So now let's run that again. I was like, that data wasn't very clean. We needed to put that data into a list. Let's step over it. And now books, well, there's 33, and if I go into any one, you can see the book code and the book title. Looks like a bunch of empty white space on all of my book titles, but you can see it's nonetheless, it's working, right? So let's see what happens when I transfer that to a view. So in my home view folder, let's go ahead and add a view. This is going to be called num1. CSHTML, and the model, well, a list of type book. Let's just see if I can kind of get that to ping up. I'm expecting an error, even though our LINQ query is doing, I mean, we wrote a LINQ query, and we're getting the books that, I mean, per the requirement, we're getting those books. But if I kind of continue that out, there you go. You're expecting a list of typed book. So there's the problem. So instead, we'll make a class. And that, again, is that data transfer object. Now, kind of moving forward, I'm going to be focusing on the link, right? I'm going to be just making these methods and getting the link to hit the database and get the data out, because that's what I want to focus on. But, yes.
Whenever you get a chance to push it.
Yeah. Okay, so let's make this class data transfer object. Add a class. Just for this one, just to go through the exercise. And I'll call it book DTO, data transfer object. And again, what are we working with here? We're working with book code and book title. And understanding book code and book title, we kind of already have them. Book code and book title, they're both strings. So I'm just going to rip this out of here, out of the class book, and make a book code and a book title. And that allows us to refactor our LINQ query in our controller. So let's go home controller. And now we can say new book DTO. Book code equals b.bookcode, comma, just title equals b.title, get rid of that. So var books, contact books, select b new book DTO. Book code is b.bookcode, title is b. I think, okay. So let's put our breakpoint back in here, and I'll just put it right here, run it. Hit it. Book comes back with 33 books, and they are strongly typed now with a book code and a title, so we're cooking there. Now we can go to the view, which is num1, and we'll have a look of a list of book DTO. Okay, now we can flush this out with our table, and if I go to my index page, I'm just going to copy this table from my index page into my number 2, or number 1, I guess. And this becomes a code for each book in model, book dot code and book title. So this is using a projection, which is just a way to say, like, you're not sending all the data from the object, you're sending a subset of the data with one of these data types that are just meant for transferring data from place 1 to place 2. Vinny.
Can you explain, it's just kind of confusing what book DTO is doing and why you added it to...
Yeah, so if I go here, there it all it is. Well, instead of sending like a book with, what else does a book have? So
Author, title,
yeah.
ISBN.
So imagine you're selecting all of those properties that are unneeded out of the database, right? So you're selecting a bunch of extra data out of the database that you essentially don't need, and then you're transferring that from your controller to your view. It's just unnecessary, right? In that sense. Now you could, like, in other words, you could just like we could select star, and then we could have a list of book here, and then we would just loop through those 2 columns. But again, you would just have extra unneeded properties there.
So book DTO in this case, like, if you go back to your home controller, before you were just sending back an entire book.
You were sending back a list of, well,
Which
in
has
this case,
data.
this is all the publisher properties.
Yeah. So like, let's say that you just wanted a few publisher properties. Like you could make a publisher DTO and
Yes.
then like, gotcha.
Right? And send over just those 3.
Okay.
It's kind of like if you have like medical records and stuff, and you only wanted to send like your first and last name and not the patient's actual records.
Bingo.
That stuff needs to be like private, so you can't be
Bingo.
sending.
You're not even pulling that data out, right?
Yeah.
So think sensitive data, medical records, payroll, social security numbers. You're not going to be pulling that out of the database.
You guys would just calibrate that?
That's exactly right. Ryan?
So the only thing I'm confused about is, like, why can't you just send the information straight through the view? Why does it have to go through the DTO?
Why can't you send the information straight through the view?
Like, why does it have to go from the controller to the DTO to the view?
Right. So we did that. The view was expecting a. So the question is, what does the view expect? Right. So in this case, this is expecting a list of publishers. But realize we didn't want to select the book in its entirety, right? So so when you didn't send the full book over, it was expecting a full book object, a list of full book objects. And if you don't give it a list of full book objects, you saw that error message, right? That's where the DTO came into place. It's like, no, we're not going to send the full book. We're going to make this other class that's just these couple of properties that we need to send over. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Does that answer your question? Okay. I mean, I guess we could do a third one, then just do the full, just for the sake of it, right? So this third one, the list of each publisher located in Boston. We have a where clause, right? So we're going to filter some data, and maybe call it, publisher name DTO. I don't know, just. So let's do that, and this will be called number 3. So back in my layout, I'll add another LI to my nav. This will be num 3, num 3. I'm going to close. I'm just going to close all, right? Close all tabs. Let me open back up my home controller and make a num3. And let's wire up a view, add a view called num3. Notice that just hitting enter doesn't work there. We have to click on the add button. Now our number 3 says all the publishers located in Boston. So, we can kind of start off with a var publishers equals context publishers dot where, and again you write this thing called a lambda where the publisher p dot city double equals Boston. Now this is selecting all the publishers, and I just want to see, and we're going to do a to lists. And I just want to see that this works before I refine this any further. Breakpoint. That makes sense, num1, num3, but whatever, moving on.
I was wondering about
Well, num2 was what we did for the homepage. We hop over that, and we could see our publishers has 2, right? So that's good. If you were to go into the database, you would see a bunch of publishers. Only 2 of them live in Boston, and you can see there the city is Boston, and the city is Boston. Okay, so our link statement is working. However, if there was sensitive data, which we don't want to send all the publishers, we can make one of these DTOs, right? So let's go ahead and add clash publisher name DTO. What's up, Vinny?
What does DTO stand for?
Data transfer object.
Ah.
And so I would go into publisher, and let's just pull out publisher name, because that's what the problem asks for. Go back to my home controller. So we're going to add a select. And that select is going to go right after here. P arrow new publisher name DTO. This red's really throwing me for a loop. Publisher name DTO curlies publisher name equals P dot publisher name. Now, of course, if you're only selecting the publisher name, it's going to have a hard time with the city. So let's add the city in there, because otherwise that's not going to work. So let's go into our publisher, let's pull out city into our DTO. We're going to filter on city, let's bring that in. And now it knows what city is. So, yes, sir.
Can you explain why we needed city there? 'Cause I thought we were trying to not drag in more.
Well, if your where clause requires it, I mean, that's what it boils down to. If you're going to say, give me all the employees with their social security, where the social security number equals this, if you're going to filter on it, you need the data.
Okay.
The idea is you'd leave the sensitive information out. The city might not be the sensitive data that we're talking about.
Okay.
Okay? But let's just ping it. Let's hit it. Let's hit num3. Let's step over. Okay, the link expression. Yeah. Okay, so I might have. Do I have it to a list? Yes. Let me reorder this. I just want to try, because I was thinking that the where would come after the select. Let's change that. Let's put the dot where and then dot select, and I'll format this, and then the dot to list. So here, dot where dot select to list. There we go.
remember back from C#. It's like backwards. Like you do SQL is select first, then the where, and then
Yeah,
link is
select,
backwards.
you're right. Select comes last in the link statement. And I forgot that. You're right. So SQL is select from where, and link is where from select kind of thing. Or from where select. From where select. It's from publishers where select.
Yeah.
So that's the order that you got to write it in. That is absolutely correct. Okay, so that works. And if I go to num3, we just got to finish wiring that num3 up. So let's look at num2 or num1, whatever it was. Paste into num3. This is a list of publisher DTO and publisher name. Publisher dot publisher name. So we know that there's two publishers in the city of Boston. And there's their publisher names. Yes, sir.
So under my view, I also tried to pass in the city, so like it would say the name, Berkeley Publishing, and then Boston.
Okay.
Of course, Boston. But it's almost like it seems like it's not passing in the city.
So did you do that in your name DTO?
Yeah. Oh, you have to select it.
That's right.
So can you just put like a comma and then?
That's right. I mean, look what we did here. Here on our select, we selected two properties.
Okay.
So it'd be the same kind of deal. Again, so let's maybe just write a few more queries and focus on the queries, and then if we ever want to pull them into a view, we kind of know the process, and if we want to be more selective on the data that we're transferring, we know how to do that. But let's go on to num4. So I'll go on to layout. Num4. Home controller. List the name of each publisher not in Boston. So var publishers equals context publishers where lambda p dot city not equal to Boston. How about that Boston? Return view publishers. Again, we're publishers. Let's put a breakpoint in. We got 26 of them. Seems good to me.
So in this case, we can just reuse the publisher name DTO file because it contains the same data, right?
Sure. If you just wanted to reuse that, and you just want to send the publisher name over. Yeah, that's a great point. List the name of each publisher not located in Boston. Well, where dot select And that would be 26 objects that just have publisher names. So there's our 26 objects. If we look at any one, the city is null, the publisher name is there.
So then really off that point, so I know you don't want us to do that, but if we were doing the DTOs for every single one of the 39 things, we could technically only have like one DTO file per class, right? And just not use
Yes. Yeah, just not use the
the other
sensitive data.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that way
You don't have 3,000 or 39 data transfer objects. Yeah. Yeah, you could, I guess, you know, I don't know if there's, you could have one per class, you could have two per class, you know, I don't know.
They kind of seem very similar to like view models.
They do.
Yeah.
'Cause view models are to transfer data from multiple tables. Yeah. Yeah. I thought the same thing. Next one, number 5. List the name of each branch that has 9 employees. Var branch. Branches with 9+ employees. Terrible name. Equals context branches where the B dot num employees greater than 9. Lists. Return view branches with 9+ employees. Breakpoint. Click. It's all single table stuff right now. 2 of them. The first one has 10 employees. The second one has 15 employees.
Starting to see through.
This is where I wanted to get. I wanted to get on a roll a little bit. I've never loaded a nav bar with, never overloaded a nav bar with a bunch of too many links. Kind of curious what's going to happen as I have like 20 links in my nav bar.
I wonder if it'll like be smart enough to just shrink the size automatically.
Well, it's Flexbox, right? And that's
Yeah.
kind of what Flexbox does. It's just going to keep shrinking it down.
You'll probably wrap it, if anything, too.
Yeah, we'll see.
So is there a reason why we didn't create a branch DTO here? 'Cause we're still passing in all the branch data and all we're using is one.
Just to save time.
Okay.
I wanted to demo it and then just focus more on the link, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
The book code and book title of each book that has a type of sci-fi. Book code and book title. Is that in our book DTO? Book code and book title, it is. Okay. Var books context books. From where type of sci-fi. B dot type equals SFI. I mean, since we got the thing, let's go ahead and use it. Select a new book DTO. B dot book code equals B dot. My select needs a lambda, right? Yep. Okay. So that way we're just bringing in the book code and the book title that have a type of sci-fi. Click number 6, breakpoint. We've got 3 books. Deepness in the Sky, Harry Potter, and Harry Potter. Looks good to me. Again, if you want to verify, you can hit all the, just look at the data. Book codes, view data, type of sci-fi, there's 1. Deepness in the Sky, there's Harry Potter, and there's Harry Potter. Someone else want to do one for me? Please. Yeah, let's do it.
I don't have the paper you have though. So
Yeah, come on. You're gonna drive.
up there?
You want to? It's recording. You're on camera.
Yeah, sure. Okay, let's see. List the book code and book title. Oh no, we did that already. List the book code and book title of each book that has the type SFI and is in paperback. Okay. So.
I think Alt Tab will get you to my editor. Yep.
Okay. So first we make one of these.
Oh, I'm sorry, I already made that for you. Number 7.
Oh, you did. Okay.
Yep.
Number 7. Save.
Who's next? Ryan? Alright, cool. Sam, you next? Yeah. Sure. We're just gonna take turns. It's coming to everyone. Pay attention now. It's coming your way.
Oh wow, it's really easy to make typos when everyone can see what you're doing. Public, action result, num 7. Alright, so we're gonna do list the book code and book title of each book, SFI and paperback. Okay. So bar books equals context dot books dot where b dot what was it, book code or no, book type dot type equals SFI and b dot paperback equals, what is that, just like a true or false kind of thing?
You might have to look at it.
Okay, so we'll look
I
at
think
it.
it's a Y.
So book is view data. Yeah, it's Y or N.
Y.
So where book paperback equals Y dot select, and we can use the BTO again. Book code equals B dot book code title equals B dot title dot to list. Okay, and then return books, save that, and we go to our views. Do we have to make a view for this?
Just
Or
you
just-
don't have to. I mean, if you want to put in
Oh,
a breakpoint.
I remember what we do. Where you go and yeah, do a breakpoint first. Hold on. So we go here, breakpoint, start it, and then we just click the link, and it should take us right back to the num7, and then skip over one more, and then we can look at books. And it looks like there's one book, A Deepness in the Sky,
Would make
and
sense to me.
that would make sense because the other two might not be paperbacks. So there you go.
Beautiful.
That's fine.
So that was 7. And number 8. Ryan, you said you're up? So what is 8? List the book code, book title of each book that has type of sci-fi, or it is published by the publisher with a code of SC. What's up, Sam?
Can I go next?
Sure.
Number 9.
So list the book code and book title of each book that is a type of sci-fi or is published by the publisher with a publisher code of SC. So let's just kind of look at book, view data, and there is a publisher code in there. So type of sci-fi, so you got the type or you got the publisher code. Cool.
So nothing with paperback.
Nothing with paperback on that one. Okay, so there's the data, there's the layout. You'll create the new link and then write the method and you're off.
The one on the left here.
What's that?
That's this one, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, link. So basically.
Link is like SQL, but you don't have to. It's like easier to write.
You guys are gonna be YouTube famous. You're gonna get tens of views. You know, the other day I made a comment at the end of the recording and I said, "Man, you guys are just stuck watching this, and no one, you know, probably no one's left online." The very next day, someone said, "Hello from Ireland. I'm still watching."
Ireland?
Isn't that weird to you that just like random people like just like watching you?
You know,
These lectures.
you know. Well, what I think is that this Muroc book is adopted in many different places. Cause I'll put a video out there and like, I'll have 100 views.
It's because if you look up Muroc, your videos are like the second option.
If you look up
If you-
Muroc,
Yeah, if it's on if you search Muroc on YouTube, you're like 2 or 3.
Oh, no
uploads,
kidding.
so-
Okay.
I should hire you.
Okay. No, because anything, I've thought quite a bit, because I'm approaching that YouTube monetization. I'm totally going to go Mr. Beast style with it. I'm going to monetize my YouTube channel, so my poor students, we're going to have to learn ad blockers. You know? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to dump 100% into like recruiting for AWD or like somehow to promote this program. So I'll be like very public, like I've made $100 and then now I'm gonna put $100 into whatever. You know, just reinvest it. What do you think? Do you think that's a good idea or do you think that's a bad idea?
Why not? Might as well.
Because the students will be annoyed by the ads.
Oh, because they're ad block. Well, I have YouTube Premium, so I can't really.
And well, here's the other thing, and someone else has said it. You're here live. If you don't want the ads, pay attention live.
That's a good point.
I think if you like subscribe to your channel, like a paid subscription, you won't get ads. So you can like
I guess students pay.
you can like gift your students subscriptions.
Can you gift You can gift subscriptions?
Mhm.
Oh.
Yeah. I think it's like $4 or something.
Does it just want the book code and the book title?
I think so.
Yeah, you're
Book
right.
code, book title.
Yep. Yeah, because I think about it, it's like, do I want to click that monetization button? Like, and it's going to be like $100 a year or something stupid, and it's not worth it.
It won't be much.
No, it won't be much. However, if I can just put that into somehow helping this program, then it's worth it.
Yeah.
So, what's the
Maybe,
book
like,
code and title of each
you know,
book?
Yeah.
You could like, I'm gonna do the same thing with that crypto mining. 50 cents a day.
It'll pay itself off quickly.
About 13 years.
You can all help
Feel like I'm forgetting something.
Okay, 50 cents a day.
What's that?
So I feel like I'm forgetting something.
Did you start with debugging?
Yes.
Okay. Step over, hover. Books, there's 5 books. Look at the data and see if that's right.
With publisher code TV. It's not right.
Well, it said or.
Yeah.
Is the type of, it is a type
Oh,
of
okay,
sci-fi.
yeah, wait, yeah.
Right.
Type of sci-fi. I see. Dreamcatcher. Yep.
Looking good.
Right.
Looking good. Good job.
Thank you.
Sam, you want the next one? All right. So I'm gonna close this other window so that it doesn't interfere or confuse. Come on up.
This is big number 9 that sorts it, but you know the way that says?
Yep.
So, is it worth that? Like, list?
It's just all right now.
Yeah, but like, it's the thing that tells us like, oh, for number 9.
Oh, okay.
Sort
Just
it
hit
is.
Alt Tab. There it is. Actually, what I'll do is I'll move it maybe.
Yes,
No,
sir.
we'll just keep it on screen. So there you go. So Alt Tab takes you back. There you go.
Okay. Book code, title, and price.
So on that one, you probably don't want to use the book DTO. You could just select all the books.
Yeah.
In other words, you just use the where clause and you can leave the select off.
Results.
Probably the most fun lecture I've ever had.
It's interactive for sure.
It's interactive and I don't have to,
So it's
I'm not teach.
code, title,
just chugging through. We're on number 9. Sam's doing. We're going round robin. Everyone's taking turns.
Cool.
Book code.
So you might have to make that link in the layout.
Yeah.
Is this a lab on inside Ranken?
Code title and price.
No. It's just practice on the. That's all it is. A lecture, if you will.
Is it in one corner?
Inside
You want to?
I might as well do that. One use of that. Use of that.
You might as well. Now in the book DTO, I don't think there is a
Price.
I would go in that.
So go back. Let me go back for one here. Go back to the requirements.
Yeah.
So it says list the code, title, and price. So that book DTO doesn't have a price, so you want to bring that in, you can bring that in. So go back and go to the book class.
Exactly, that's the
Here.
whole book class. Yeah.
Okay. Here's what you'll do then. Just leave the select clause off. You could just leave the select clause off and just make it 2 lists.
Okay.
That's kind of going to do your select star.
Yeah, because he said that, but since it specified 3, it wouldn't give me paperback as well. I didn't know if that's what you wanted.
Oh, that's not for the whole book
No,
class
you,
then.
I mean, you could just add. Well,
Yeah, let's just add price. I'm sorry.
Add price
Let's
to
do
the
that.
book DTO and then call it a day.
Wait, where do I do that? Over here?
So yeah, go to book first, copy the price out, paste it in book DTO.
So in SQL, there's a between, right? For like range.
Yeah.
So how would you do that? Like just without greater.
I haven't used that, so I don't know the.
So let's see what you wrote, but let's finish up the query first, and then we'll.
So, do I update database with this? What do I do?
No, you're good.
I'm-
Home controller. Now we're gonna add that select back in.
That's just like, there is no between operators, just this. So you're just stuck with it.
It's a song right out of
Shrek.
1999
Literally.
or something.
Smash Mouth.
Put it in a breakpoint.
Yep. What? Oh. Oh, my bad. I control Z.
Are we gonna be on the famous Invenmestead YouTube channel?
That's what I was saying. You're gonna get tens of views.
My bad.
If anyone calls me a noob, I'm writing a diss track.
A diss track.
I'm writing a diss track.
Okay, so hover books. Looks like 4 books, and you use it
24.50.
and operator, right? So you said where one thing and the other. Look good?
I mean, it looks good.
Looks good to me. Job well done. All right. Well, Adeji, you got number 10. List the book code and book title of each book that has a type of MYS and a price of less than $20. So again, just alt tab back and forth, and it's all right there. If any one person is sick, we're all about to get sick.
I'm like hickless sick, but not too sick. So bad.
That's gonna go.
Did you remember that one time you paid for my lunch?
Did I?
Or no, remember when I paid for your lunch?
No, I remember me paying for your lunch.
No, but will you just like pay me back by just paying these student loans?
Yeah, I got you. What's
It's only $18,000.
something like that? You should have like tore it up in front of Craig and just been like, yeah, I'm not paying this.
It'd be like, wow, you found the loophole. That's legally binding. You no longer have to pay those back.
He broke out of the nation.
But no one else can do it since you're just.
Yeah, I'm above that. Like, no, I'm actually built differently. You know, my client is simply built differently.
Wait, Vinny, you should apply to sing for the national anthem at graduation.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I thought they had someone.
Well, they sent an email saying if anyone would like to sing the national anthem, please let me know.
I will have others. I'll sing, what if I sing that one big song? I haven't made it. That's that guy on SoundCloud. What's the name? I don't know. Have to sing like famous after singers. I don't know the name. You know it, you're on SoundCloud. I can only think of one famous actress making a song. Swan. Taylor Swift. Go up there and sing.
Notice how IntelliSense is really picking up steam as far as like it's picking up our patterns and repeating it. Again, is mine? I don't know because I installed that Copilot a long time ago. Is my IntelliSense more or less the same as yours? Yeah. I don't have Copilot anymore.
Is it AI driven?
Not at this point.
Okay.
We haven't made any views or anything.
No, we're not making any views. Just hit a breakpoint and check it.
Alright.
Did you add the link in the layout?
Oh,
There's
okay,
a tab
yeah.
open for it.
Are we not making the indexes for these?
You're welcome to go above.
I mean, is there only stuff we do?
Check the data. Yeah, I think so. I believe yes is the answer to your question.
Maybe I heard they're getting Tekashi 6ix9ine for the singing of the
For the
national.
Ranken national anthem.
I'll probably just stick that.
I don't think he's fitting with dress code here.
Did you see that video of him getting beat up in the?
You gotta take it to
gym?
list. Did you take it to list?
Oh.
You didn't see that?
Okay, yeah, no, I didn't do two lists. Okay.
You definitely gotta make a clickbaity title on this one.
Yeah, you get my students attempts.
My students did what?
Yeah, there you go. My students did what?
Last student to complete the link query wins
$20,000.
Mm.
It's a fake Mr. Beast on there.
Wins all the crypto art miners.
I guess I need to probably bring in price because it's getting dull on that.
I think you need to take the comma out of the title, 107.
Yeah, I also think I need to bring in price as well. So let me go to here. Okay, yeah, price is right in there.
MYS stands for My YouTube Shorts.
Good one.
I don't know. What does it stand for? I didn't think I needed good at English.
So you got the edge.
I feel like you could probably file a list or like I'll just
Okay, so let's say 20.
What, good?
Stuff on this videos.
Can't really check the type, so I have to do the database. But I can bring in type to propagate it. But yeah,
Oh, does it want the type?
it doesn't want the type. I'm just saying we
Oh.
don't know if it's actually right or not. So we have
Right,
to check the database.
right.
But I'm pretty sure it is.
So just to help one another out, as we're writing these, if you guys would look at the data and know what to expect. So like Oladeji just finished this one, what should we expect? Is it 1 book, 2 books, 5 books, what have you? Vinny, you wanted to go next?
No. Yeah, Vinny. Yeah, make Vinny do it.
No.
I mean, I can try it. It looks difficult, but I can give it a shot.
So this one was unique, right? So in SQL world, you're able to do a computed column where you're taking 10% off. You multiply something times 0.9. And let's see what they kind of say about calculated, New York class calculated. So here's a new, so maybe we add a property to our class's discount. So I'll do 11. So customers, so we'll make a customers DTO. Add a class. We're doing DTO. Customers. Oh, wait a minute. It's not customers. I don't need customers. Delete. This is still books. Okay. So we're going to make a discounted price inside of our book DTO. Public decimal discounted price. Price times 0.9. 0.9M. So now num 11 num 11. You could probably get it from there, Vinny, huh? Yeah, maybe. Maybe not. Let me.
Yeah, I can try.
Book code, book title, and price. For each book. Oh, discounted price for each book. Okay. So we just need context dot books. There's no where clause. Book code, title, now a book, so I would say, well, should we set price as B dot book DTO, so there's our book DTO.
Could you do the logic in there, like instead of having
Quite possibly. Price is B dot price times 0.9
yeah, 0.9
M. Totally reasonable. So at that point you don't even need the discounted price.
Then when you have to add that 0.9 onto the original price or subtract it, because that's just giving you the discount
That's 10% off.
Yeah. Price. Okay, you're right.
Let's put a breakpoint in. So that wasn't so bad. One solution, maybe not. Kind of want to keep tinkering around with that discounted price. Let's hit the breakpoint. Oh. 2 lists. So our books.
Trying all of them.
Yeah, I wanted all the books,
Oh, okay.
and
Oh, I see.
At a discounted price.
I mean that's definitely not the number that's stored as price in the database.
So that's what I'm saying, that's only returning the actual discount amount, but it's not returning the actual price of the book with the discount amount.
Bingo.
So,
But you're not supposed to show. It didn't say show the original amount.
Oh.
It said show. It said
you show what the discount.
list the book code, title, and discounted price for each book.
Gotcha.
So you didn't need to show the actual price. Now, I kind of, if I wanted to bring that back in, like let's say for whatever reason you did want to do both, and that was a requirement. So there's discounted price. Let me just do a build solution. Maybe it didn't. Price is price. Yeah, it really doesn't like that. If it's not part of an original, see here we're selecting a book and there is no discounted price on book, right? So because it's not a property of book coming from books, we're not allowed to add, you can't say discounted price. So we're kind of stuck here, I think.
Well, wouldn't you be able to do B dot discounted price?
Price, sure. Well, no, that again, B is a book.
Oh, B is book.
Yeah.
And you're saying we can't access that inside of book.cs, like we couldn't modify that and add a discounted price to both PTO and.
Oh, you could remember this is a partial class. You could add another property here and do it that way.
That's where my mind was going.
Okay. Yeah, always more than one solution. So let's just say you want the price B dot price. And like we kind of saw, add a class. And I did book 2. Remember I did that the other day. Public partial class. Just called book. Prop decimal discounted price. So now book is a partial class. This is a partial class. Now let's build it. And we can get the price. Come on, discounted. I can tell IntelliSense is acting up. Let's just kind of does see that. I thought we could add it there. Let me just rebuild solution. Sometimes build, rebuild, clean. Let's make sure it's all nice and good.
Charlie's not pulling up because he put that in book DTO, if you're trying to access that from the book class, that property.
Yeah, I'm gonna take that out. Build.
Oh, that is book DTO.
Maybe they're
We solved it one way. Do we really need to solve it 2 ways? You wanna do the next one? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Are we done on this one? I thought discounted price, book DTO. Oh, wait a sec. I didn't do my get set here. Okay, let me try. So here's the problem. Okay. So I'm not sure that I had my get sets right.
Just really doesn't like our discounted price.
The only thing that makes sense to me is that because you can't set it, it won't give you the IntelliSense to set something to it. But maybe if you like made a view for it, you'd be able to pull the discounted price out from the book DTO.
Just kind of curious if I'd make it just normal auto implemented property in both places. And then I go back to home controller. Okay, so now that I've got, yeah, that's, okay. So now discounted price is there. So again, I don't think discounted price is coming from here. Wait, no, it must be, yeah, it is. It's coming from here. And now it's also, so on the left, this is coming from the book DTO. These are the properties from book DTO. And on the right, this is obviously coming from book. So the discounted price in there, so let's see if the set price times 0.9M. And let's do a we've made progress. It's a little slow progress, but we're making progress.
What's up? Like I didn't know it was already you.
Oh, wait a minute. What a set. putting the return in the wrong thing. Where's my brain at? Come on, price. 0.9.
So creepy. That was a 1.7. The way his eyes like move.
Okay. So here we added the discounted price to our partial class. When we get it, return the price times 0.9 and added it to our book DTO. And now we solved it the other way, maybe? Let's see if it does that math. I think that was kind of a cool exercise to go through, especially if it worked. Return the books, 33 of them, and the price is calculated. It's got that third digit. That is 90% of whatever the cost is. That worked. Okay, so what was the challenging part? Okay, this is a read-only property that I added to the book class. There's no set block. However, when you have a read-only property, you can only set them in the object initializers or the constructor. Like those are the only time you can't set them outside of the construction. And so even though this is the discounted price and it's read-only, you are allowed to call a set block. Where do we call the set block? We call the set block right here. The discounted price, actually this just calls a get. We're not even calling the set block of our book. B.discounted price, that's where it gets the price times 0.9, assigns it to the discounted price that we had to actually also add to our book DTO. So that second way was a little more complicated, but two ways of solving the same problem. Next one, Vinny, you're up.
So, yay, man.
Let's check it out.
Is that YouTube?
The name of each publisher containing the word and. Okay.
You said alt tab. Yeah.
Okay, so first thing I'm gonna do is create a thing here. This is number 12.
I like your keyboard.
Okay. So publisher. So we're gonna go here.
Oh, your keyboard's weird.
12.
So what should Vinny expect here? Is kind of what I would ask you guys to kind of look into. How many publishers should Vinny expect?
Let's see.
And who are those publishers?
So I do have a question. In this case, we're containing. We have a dot contains, right? Is that what I assume, or would it be a dot where still?
Which one are we on? Find the name of each publisher containing the word and.
So you would say like
So just Google it real quick.
You should expect 3, by the way.
3.
Unless I missed it.
Cause like up here we do the where first and then the selects. And
Yeah, it's from where select, so it's gotta be from the books, where and select, but,
Nope.
In publishers?
Wait. Book context, not books. Done.
Oh yeah, 4, yeah. Never mind, 4.
I do where first. That's where I missed it.
so then Vinny asked a question, in LINQ, is there a contains method? So what's the equivalent in LINQ for contains? Like contains is, saying it contains the word. In SQL, there's a contains method.
I don't think you're gonna need a contains, like,
Is there an equivalent though?
I don't think, yeah. I just think you're gonna do a dot where, and then inside of it, it'll be like,
There you go.
contains method
There you
inside
go.
of it.
Where it goes.
Yeah, like that.
That contains and.
Now put a space in front of the word.
Do before and after, right?
Yeah. Put a space before the A and after the D.
A space before. Wait, why? What is that?
Well, that way the word random,
Mhm.
R-A-N-D.
Oh.
Random
That
would
checks out.
return.
That's tracking.
And then you would select from. I'm weird with the formatting here. I'm kind of following. And select from P dot. New publisher name. DTO.
It's those curlies go.
Yeah.
No.
Where?
Just right after the publisher name DTO.
Oh yeah. Like that, right?
With no parentheses.
Oh.
Delete that.
Oh.
That's it.
And then you would say, and that's all we want, right? It's just the name.
Now I've dot two listed.
Yeah.
There you go.
Why is this giving
And
me?
return publishers to the view.
Is that why it's giving me a thing here? Yeah,
Put a
green
question
screen.
mark, publisher name question mark. And that way if it's null,
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a feeling you're gonna have to refactor that part, I'll be honest.
Can
so
I-
contained, what we're saying is that publisher name is a string, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a C# string, is there a contains method of a C# string? Is that kind of what you're going for?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see what this says. Cannot convert bool to bool. So contains returns true or false.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you're gonna have to do like something like publisher name equals something.
So in C#, when we did a lot of this, and we used contains, and so
Was it string that contains?
it-
I think that might have been.
So this is
Oh, it is a
I'm
string.
okay with this. So let's just
Yeah.
put in the breakpoint and test it,
Okay.
and then we can kind of go from there. So do you have the link for num12?
Yeah, I put it in. That's
Okay.
the first thing I did.
So let's just check it out.
I wouldn't have thought to put those spaces between the A and the D.
So you said 4, Josh?
Yeah, 4.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Also works.
Bingo. We're good.
Cool.
Nice. Good shit.
Now, yeah, if we here's what we need. If we put a question mark here, then maybe we need to put the question mark here. No, still doesn't like it. There's, okay. Not battling that battle right now.
Not worth it.
Yeah. The green squiggly is not that bad.
We can tolerate the green squiggly.
I forgot to turn this plug. I should have been like, follow my SoundCloud, follow my.
Thanks to all the little people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be on Instagram at.
Anything that tripped me up there was just like.
So if it did return null, that where clause would break, where P is null, and I don't think, maybe that's not allowed.
Oh.
This where clause basically doesn't allow nulls, is what I'm thinking. So maybe,
Thought you were gonna fight that battle. See, Mr. G.
I know,
You
right?
can't help but fight the
You gotta fight the battles. Alright, Sam Downs?
GPT is like, why does this return green squigglies?
Bingo.
Sam's like, I gotta use the bathroom. Sam, go do it.
Sam, this is an order. I think you got it. Order by. We haven't ordered anything yet.
Think of it like you're practicing for like there's an interview behind your back, watching you do like that.
Well, no, for I mean, that's how I thought of it. Like, it's a little nerve wracking.
Just picture everyone watching a YouTube video in their underwear.
Think about it like there's a gun to your head.
Bro.
He's gonna edit that one out, George. I'm sorry.
Code like your degree.
Yeah, I'll do 14. You do 15? You willing to do 15? Same as 13. Only lists the books in alphabetical order. Okay.
I don't think we've done 13 yet.
Did I skip one?
Yeah, that's 3 types.
We just did 12.
Sam, do you want to do 13? Which one do you want to do?
I'll do 14.
You'll do 14. Okay, I'll do 13. You do 14. List the book code. Or this is just an order, right? This or that or that. Okay.
Yeah, I was about to say, didn't like all the day do this one? Or someone else?
Something similar.
Just adding an extra 4.
I don't like how like non-sensitive your keyboard is. I'm so used to like barely tapping it and going on. This is you gotta punch it.
You're like Lana Lens, like super sensitive.
Yeah.
For me, it's the fact that you're standing up while typing. It's just
rapid fire.
literally
Below on the keyboard. It would actually use
Lower.
I mean, it's just a sense that I have to stand up while typing. It's disorienting. I'm always sitting when I'm doing that.
Things is nice. I like the standing up.
Yeah, I like the standing best. I didn't think
I'm
it
getting
was
used to it, yeah. I agree. Book code and title. Okay, so we're dealing with books again. Okay, so from, we say our books table, where lambda b dot book code, book title of each book, to list, return to the view, books. Nine, anyone You know, sci-fi, mystery, art. I'm gonna guess that seems about right, but. Sam, you want number 14, yeah?
I'm trying on my own.
You got
No, you don't get to try it on your own. None of us got to try it on our own.
You can do it, Sam.
You can do it. You can do it in front of everybody.
I'll help you out if you get stuck.
There's only a few thousand people.
Sam, I'll let you climb too up there.
Sam's like
No one's
practicing
allowed
it
up
5
there.
times before he has to
Go back.
George, you want to do one?
I guess.
Alright, George.
Yay,
I just think
George, you want to do
it's-
15?
Whichever one's.
I feel like it's good practice for like technical interviews.
Sam, you're warming up on 14, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
These technical interviews were gonna be like,
Those are nerve-wracking, it sounds like.
yeah. They're,
Oh, 15, yeah.
the only
group
one
of-
I've done was really easy.
For your kids, like, what they have to do after.
I
I can
had
try
to write
15.
a for loop,
I don't think
I
I'll.
write an if statement,
Yeah.
and I had to like,
Wait, 14 or 15?
15, but
I had to make it.
14 I can.
You have to make it
But-
nice.
Yeah, he's on 14, so 15.
Yeah.
Same as 13,
I was doing
but also include
the string,
the price
what do you call it?
and
Interpolated.
list the books in descending order by price.
Yeah, so it wasn't working on like the program that they had, so I'm like, guys, I swear to God, like this works.
Yeah, that's
And they,
interesting.
like,
So
understood that, like, okay, maybe this system doesn't understand, cause they had to do this like screen share.
Yeah, there's a group by and
and
SQL,
code-
and we gotta
you
figure out the
couldn't-
link
didn't just code
equivalent.
like in
Okay,
Visual Studio
yeah.
or anything, so
Okay, but maybe
it
just
didn't work as intended.
Can do the first part.
do the first part, and because that's descending order. So that's, we haven't done an order yet. This one has a group by, and again, what's the equivalent in link? Yeah, SQL group by.
Where's the links layout? Yeah.
Grouping?
I have a question. So, at 4 I have this, so is it okay if I leave just like 15 minutes before that, just to wrap down it?
What is that?
They were at the job fair, LE data.
It's the one I have one with tomorrow.
So is it just dot order by or
It is, but
order
you
by
gotta
descending?
order by descending, but I wouldn't do it there.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah. Is this the first one with order by?
From where? Just hit up Google and
Yeah.
see where from. I'm pretty sure it's
Could be join. Join link.
so after the where clause, where order by select.
Oh, just after the parentheses. Right? Or oh, those are both things that didn't work, I guess. I think both those.
So I think it comes after the order by, or after the where. Excuse me. So
Yeah.
where
So this
dot order by
dot
descending.
order by,
That's it. And then
and it's
give it the lambda.
by price. Like
Go
that.
for it. Yay, George. Woo!
Now throw in a breakpoint.
that breakpoint in the right spot, or should I?
That'll work.
Okay. This one?
Step over. Yep. Step over. And
Oh. I think I passed it. One more.
okay, now hover over books. Count of 9.
Should have been the same 9 guys.
And check out the prices. So just go to the first one. It's got $24.95. Then go to the second one, and it should be
24.50.
should be lower price.
24.46.
Lower price.
Yeah.
Lower price.
Yay, price.
There you go.
So what's the second one?
Okay, with a
Yeah, I'm
group
gonna-
of books
We'll leave that alone, I guess.
having the same price, further order by title. So let's, I'll give it a shot here. So, link group by.
I'm pretty sure there's just a group by.
Mm-hmm. So we've got group. So from, we already got the from. It's before the.
Doesn't seem to be mean.
No, you going to do it, I want you to get that high blood pressure.
That's not right there on camera, bro.
Yeah. Wait, did you go? What? Not a problem. That's why I was like, what's up, YouTube? So you know YouTube?
All right. Well, I had that paused, and so now I have to tell the recording for the 3 people watching this live. So we were kind of stuck on the second part here, and the reason we were stuck, at least the reason I was stuck, is I'm familiar with a group by clause in SQL, and the group by, I thought I needed to do a group by in LINQ, and there is a group by, and that was going down a rabbit hole, and so. This is the first time that I've ever used this tool of ChatGPT, and I kind of had this little code here. Notice I commented this out where I was doing a group by and kind of stuck. And so I went to ChatGPT and I pasted my code, and I said, when 2 books have the same price, I want to further order by title. And I pasted this. Of course, ChatGPT, to further order by title, you can chain a then by method to the order by descending method. This would sort the price in descending order first and then sort by the ascending order by title and ascending order. Here's the updated code, and it it solved my problem, and got rid of my group by. Group by was not necessary, and added my then by b dot title. And this is exactly what I put in, and this is if I hit my breakpoint, it's exactly what we were looking for. So pretty awesome. And so now if I kind of hop over my results, I could see my books are going in descending order. So my first book is $24.95, my next book is $24.50, and it's going down the price. It's not until the bottom where we get two books that are $6.99. So the seventh or the eighth book is $6.99, and the ninth book is $6.99. And you could see that, well, Sleigh Ride is coming before The Edge, and that's not the order they're in the database, right? In the database, they're actually the other way around. The Edge is before Sleigh Ride. So of course that is working, and that's the power of ChatGPT. And again, I think if I'm in your shoes and I'm landing my first developer job, I'm keeping this on my hip as a tool that can help you, be more productive. Certainly you have to know how to code, right? It's not going to replace you, at least not today, I don't think. However, could you be more productive if you have a tool like this in your tool belt? And yeah, I certainly was just more productive.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be transparent. I use it at work all the time. But also, I mean, it keeps me from bothering Robert. He's got 6 other jobs, he doesn't need to.
So how many problems has it helped you solve at work?
At least 5 or 6 times I've gotten stuck, and I was like, okay, let's see.
5 or 6 times you got stuck and used ChatGPT to get you unstuck.
He's like, I've never worked a single day in my life.
That's pretty sweet.
You just let it do it for me.
That is pretty sweet. So Sam brought in the number 14 into Discord, so I'm just going to bring in 14.
What is your, how do you feel about this stuff? And,
Uh-huh.
and I can prefer, obviously, I code everything from scratch. If you don't want me to use it, I totally understand. You should use it as a tool.
Use it away.
Yeah. I think that's just what the trend will be, no matter what. I don't know if many junior dev jobs will disappear. I think just the what you will need to do as a junior dev will just increase. Because now you're more efficient, so you can do.
No, I think you're right. And again, where I pulled that opinion of hey, make a junior developer more productive, literally listening to a podcast today that was talking about this and how a junior developer can be 20 times more productive. Where that 20 time, who cares? Who cares if you're just a little bit more productive?
Yeah.
Then that's a good thing. So there's number 14. So what do we got here? This is ordering by the book title. And so if we throw in the breakpoint here, thank you, Sam, for doing that. And let's throw in the... Man, I'm sad today is ending. I'd rather just keep on going, but we will continue this tomorrow. And by the end of this, we will have no shortage of LINQ practice. Josh, you looked at me and said, your eyes said, I didn't do this. Do you want to do one, Josh?
Not really, but
Just put it in ChatGPT before you go.
Num 14. Step over. So the idea behind this is it's the same 9 books, but we're ordering by title. So starting with the letter A, finishing with the letter V. Certainly alphabetical order looks good to me.
I can see it pretty well. There's still a lot of fade and people like it. I'm gonna read it to you. Faded on the bottom. It's good.
Okay, so 16, again, something new. In SQL, they have the distinct method, right? So the distinct says, hey, you know, you've got these books, and these books have types, and because there's a bunch of books, you're gonna have the same repetitive types, and so we only want to return unique types. You don't want to return it so the question is, what is distinct? And it looks like there's still a distinct function in LINQ. So let's put in number 16.
That's still
Book types in the database. So again, I want to kind of glance at the so we don't need a really a where clause. We just need to select there is no type as we just keep expanding this. Let me do a build so it make sure it knows my properties. So we're selecting the book types and just calling distinct. So instead of returning the book types a bunch of times, call this book types, and that should get those strings, but they should be unique and not repeated. 16 is what I need. Breakpoint is what I need. Start with debugging is what I need. It's gonna be the end of the day. Where am I going wrong here? ASP action, number 16, num 16. Could I? I'm not sure if I typed that or autocomplete got me.
Yeah, should have told them.
Art, fiction, history, all in there once. And that is distinct in LINQ. Okay, getting to be the end of the day. We'll finish this up tomorrow, I think so. Have a good rest of your day, guys.